What's up, everybody? Welcome to Some Shit We Like, episode 312. I'm Mike, here with Rick, and very special guest, James Redwine, filling in for Bryce, who's away on assignment?
Sure.
On vacation. Bryce is doing Bryce stuff, so we're here to do us stuff. And yeah. So if you're unfamiliar, we talk about movies, video games, I don't know, sometimes sports, wrestling, music, whatever the hell we want. And if you want to watch us live, you can do that at twitch.tv/someshitwelike, or no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Wait, what?
Yes. Twitch.tv/SSWL network. Damn, I already fucked it up.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to watch us live because we're obnoxious and you want to consume us in clip form, you can do that on YouTube. Tuesday through Thursday, we put up clips. Friday, the full show if it's not too long. And if you don't want to look at our ugly mugs, you can listen to this in podcast audio form every Tuesday at around noonish, depending on if I remember to type notes or not. And that's how that goes. So, Rick, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah?
I'm doing all right. Not too bad. Got to spend my week with Bryant.
Yeah, so you don't have to drive 50 miles every day?
Yeah.
That's good.
It fucking sucks to drive that far. But yeah, I got to stay with him, and I'm watching over Bryce's dog too, actually. Tulip. I don't know if you saw my Instagram.
Yeah, I saw some of the pictures.
But I put some pictures of her on my Instagram story.
Cool.
Cute dog. And likes to shit on carpet. She likes to shit on the carpet. Apparently.
That's amazing.
She really does not like grass. I try to take her on the grass.
Yeah.
When I'm taking her for a walk, and she just hates it. She just walks the cement. I'm like, when I took her for a walk one time, it was hot, and I tried to get her on the grass, but no.
Bryce always has like
she is a street dog though.
Diva-ist of diva dogs. Always, there's always something.
This dog is such a diva.
It's pretty amazing.
But,
James, how have you been since the last time we convened?
Which
was a while ago.
It's been a while.
Yeah,
and it's been life. So, but I'm alive, and
that's good.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Awesome.
Well, how's everything else? As far as, are you still doing extra work?
It's been kind of really slow the past few months. Yeah, but I'm trying.
Cool.
I have an audition on Sunday.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's for a play, The Graduate.
Oh, nice.
So we'll see. I've
never seen that movie.
It's good.
Yeah, I probably should see it.
I've only seen bits and pieces. I've never actually sat down.
Is it for? Sorry, I totally cut you off. Is it for where you took your lessons at?
It's,
or I don't want to say.
It's a little community theater down in Dana Point.
Okay. Well, you gotta let us know if you get it so we can go.
Maybe.
Fucking break a leg, dude.
I might not let anyone know anything.
Like after a few plays, then you guys can come.
All right. Very cool.
Cool. Mike?
I had a pretty standard week of sitting and watching a clock count down on my PlayStation until I could play Days Gone.
Days Gone.
Yeah, and in between watching that clock count down, I decided to actually turn on my PS3 and move my original Borderlands character over onto the servers so I could play it on Borderlands Game of the Year edition on PS4. Which I'll get into when we talk about video games. Is pretty. I was very upset for a minute, but again, I'll talk about that later. Other than that, just regular, life. Like James said, man, just life. Yeah,
It's rough.
Kids in school, and Friday last night there was a family invited to superhero dance at my son's school, so everybody was dressed up like superheroes, and then
I want to go to a superhero dance.
it was actually pretty cool. They had really nice decorations. It looked like kind of like a Gotham background all over. It was like okay, so the way my wife does stuff for my kids' birthday parties.
Yeah, she goes all out. She makes everything.
Hand draws the big boards and stuff like that, and we've had Candyland party for my daughter, Rockstar party for her, a Lilo and Stitch, and a pirate party for my son. And she hand draws these big ass fucking things and paints them for decoration. And I'll show you some pictures later. You look very interested.
Yeah.
Yeah, send me the pictures so I can put them in post.
Yeah, I will.
Can I have your wife?
I'm sure. Why not? I've had her for a while now. I can share. Yeah. So I won't say the school was lazy because I don't expect them to, hand paint things and hand do everything. So they had like it. Probably like Party City tablecloth looking things, but they had them up on the wall. But it looked really cool. It was really cool. They had, glow necklaces for the kids and little cool like frames to take pictures in and stuff like that. And it was all these things like pre-bought stuff, and all the stuff looks good. But I'm used to a different quality of stuff because of the way my wife spoils myself and my kids. So it was like, I was like, this is good, but like it could be better. These decorations are nice, but it could be better. It was one of these like I think it was my daughter was like maybe 6 or 7, and maybe 6, and she went to a birthday party for a friend at school, and my wife picked her up, and she goes, "Mom, all they had was pizza." And my wife goes, "What did you expect?" She goes, "I don't know, like the way you throw parties." So again, like we were talking about before the show, how they have no concept of appointment TV. Mm-hmm. They also have no concept of like, oh, party hats and pizza for birthday parties because they're spoiled, rotten little turds. But
yeah,
you are what your environment breeds, so it's our fault.
Oh man, you mentioned Gotham like stuff.
Yeah.
James, did you say you watched Gotham? I think I remember you
did.
telling me.
I'm behind like at least 1 season, maybe 2.
Oh, okay. Did you see the trailer for like the finale?
I did.
Like I've only watched like maybe a few episodes of the first season.
Okay.
But I watched the season finale trailer. I was like,
oh, the trailer.
This looks batshit crazy in a good way.
Yeah, it looks fun.
I want to watch it.
The show's fun. I really enjoyed what I've seen of it.
So
it just went like in a different direction. Like I thought it was gonna be this, and then it went this way instead.
As a huge Batman fan, I have a confession to make. I've only watched one episode of Gotham.
Oh my god, I watched more than you.
I watched the initial episode, and I was like, oh man, freaking Donald Logue, this whole cast is gonna be awesome, and I really liked that episode a lot. Just again, never went back.
You should. You'll probably hate me, but Gotham is better than most of the Batman movies.
Wow. Yeah. The trailer, man. Did you watch the trailer by chance?
No.
No, you should watch it. It looks really cool.
Okay.
And like, yeah, I feel like I have to go back and watch it because I was so stunned by it. Like, they just went there. But what sucks is that it's ending.
Yeah.
So it's like, we're not going to see all that.
I can't even be a dick to you about your opinion, because normally I would say something snarky like, well, everybody has an opinion and yours is wrong. But I have not watched Gotham, so I can't even do that. I can't even be an asshole today.
I do love the Batman films.
Yeah.
Gotham's better.
Pretty good.
Okay.
Wow, I'm going to have to watch it. Since we're talking about stuff like what we're watching, and we kind of did the pre-show talk.
Yeah.
Let's just do a little talk of what we're watching really quick.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, sure.
So,
would you like to go first? Oh, all right, fine. I finally started watching Sex Education, so Bryce would leave me the fuck alone about it. Not really. I just was interested. I like Asa Butterfield. I think that dude is an awesome actor. I've mentioned it before. The first thing I ever saw him in was Son of Rambo. I don't know if you've seen that.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, dude, you need to see it. It's really good. It's about these two kids who want to remake shot for shot Rambo. First Blood. They want to remake
random.
it. Yeah. and Asa Butterfield, like, he's really young. He's super young in it. This is like maybe 12-year-old movie. Mm-hmm. And I rented it because I had just got Netflix. I'm like, oh, this is in the mail and shit. And so I was like, oh, this seems interesting. And it was one of those like featured. And I was like, that seems interesting. So we rented it and we watched it. And I was like, this is really friggin' cool because it's more about these two kids and their relationship and how they become friends and then how they have their falling out and then have their friends again. And I remember seeing there was this group of kids that did a shot for shot remake of Indiana Jones. Yeah. And they took them like 8 years, so they start as little kids and
And
then
they
they're
get
all like
older.
college age by the time they're done. And I've never actually seen that, but apparently they do a shot-for-shot remake of Indiana Jones. And I was like, this is really cool. So we watched Son of Rambo, and Asa Butterfield is really, really good in it. And then I just really didn't hear his name much in American cinema until he was cast in Ender's Game.
Mm-hmm.
And I had never read that book, and I had no idea there was a movie coming out. And then I picked it up on Amazon on a whim because it was like 99 cents. And I was like, oh, I'll read this. And I read it. And I was like, this shit is the shit. And then I was like, and there's a movie coming out. And so I saw that, and I was like, wow, he was really good as that character. And then he's also a nerd, and he plays video games. One of the video game websites I go to is giantbomb.com, and he actually played Dota on a live stream with the Giant Bomb guys a few years ago, which is like, man, this guy is just cool. And then when he was in the running to play Spider-Man, I was like, he needs to be Peter Parker. It's him. And then they went with Tom Holland, who's fine. But watching Sex Education, the first 4 episodes only, I was like, this only reaffirms my opinion that he should have played Peter Parker. He is so freaking good on the show.
He is.
Everybody on the show is amazing. Like, I really like the way it's written. I like all of the characters. I think his best friend Eric steals the show in every scene he's fucking in. And yeah, man, I'm really, really enjoying it. I've got some nits to pick with it, but I won't do that until I finish watching, the entire first season. And also, Bryce will probably kill me if I go any more into what I like and dislike about it with him not being here. But that's what I've been watching. You like how I completely talked around it and really didn't say anything about it? Yeah, I'm really digging it so far.
What are you watching, James?
I kind of binge watch. Like, Netflix has been releasing their new 15-minute shows.
New 15-minute shows?
Yeah. So I watched one called Special, one called Bonding, and one, I'm blanking on the name, but it's like a stop-motion anime kind of thing about depression.
Oh, wow.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I gotta check these out.
Yeah, Special's really good.
Okay.
I like
really good. Bonding, I don't know if I liked it, but I watched the whole thing.
There's got to be something there.
Well, it was all about BDSM.
Oh, shit.
So it was interesting to watch, but I don't know.
I get it.
Warning, if you watch it, there's a lot of stuff that happens.
Yeah. See, I can't though.
I didn't get it until you pointed it out. And they're only 15 minutes?
Yeah, 50 minutes, like 7.
I feel like that's like the sweet spot lately for me. Is like short, like maybe 30-minute shows.
I think that's what as we're talking about.
It was hard for me to like continue watching
Sex Education.
Sex Education because it's about an hour.
Yeah.
But it is worth it. It is worth it.
I think that's the thing that kind of puts me off of watching stuff is like there's no such thing as like your 22-minute sitcom anymore. Everything is an hour-long drama or even now on like FX. Like I was talking about watching Mayans MC and then watching Sons of Anarchy. Like those shows aren't just an hour. Like they get free reign to be as however fucking long they want to make them. So some are 44 minutes inside that hour with commercials. Some are an hour and 20 minutes. Some are 58 minutes. Like it's all over the fucking place, and there's zero structure to anything anymore, except for if you're a Netflix show or a movie. It's got to be like, we're fucking on Netflix. There's no rules. Here's some titties, or like that's the vibe I get from almost everything that comes out. And I like, we watched that movie last year, The Package, that was a Netflix movie. And that movie is kind of like a throwback to things like,
Did you watch that?
Yeah, I think so.
Going all the way back to things like Porky's and stuff like that, or an Animal House. But it's definitely more of a takeoff of an American Pie style, which is kind of more the modern version of the raunchy teen comedy, which is fine. I love those. But like, it just feels like when you're on Netflix, you've got to prove that this is why we're on Netflix, Like, we don't have any fucking rules.
Like I told you in the car, because we were kind of talking about this. Like, I feel like HBO is the same way, too.
Yeah. I think they are, but they also stay within that almost TV structure, you know what I mean? Like, Entourage was a 22-minute show, and then it was like an hour show. Like, but
No, it was always 22.
it was always 22, right?
Or
Yeah,
30 minutes.
yeah, but they kept within those parameters.
Yeah.
And like, look at something like Sex in the City. They show that on, what channel is it?
I never
They
watched
show
Sex
it
in
on.
the City.
I didn't.
Although what I have watched, I actually did like.
I've never watched more than a few episodes, but they show it on I don't know if it's not TBS, but it's like a network like that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
where
about.
they
yeah,
show it
they have.
because they stuck to that formula of television broadcasting, so you can put commercials in and you can put it within the time frame.
Mm-hmm.
But Netflix just doesn't give a fuck. They have zero fucks to give when it comes to format.
Yeah. And apparently they're canceling now too.
Yeah, I saw that.
They canceled
Santa Clarita Diet. Yeah.
I never watched it, but I heard it was really good. There's too much to watch.
It had 3 seasons.
Oh, but yeah, I've been watching Cobra Kai season 2.
Yeah.
I'm on episode
I need to
7, 8.
I need to get another
And,
email address and sign up for another free trial so I can watch
you
season
should.
2.
You should. But yeah, it's so good. Last episode I watched, I was telling Mike in the car, they're like at Skate Depot or Skateland type of place, and it's 80s night.
Mm-hmm.
So they're all dressed like in 80s clothing, playing 80s music. It's like, it's so good. And it just, like, some of the costumes they're wearing is like almost reminiscent of the kind of like how they dressed in the original Karate Kids.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to see how just it all blends together.
I've been wanting to go to golf and stuff again though since watching the season 1 of Cobra Kai because I haven't been in a little while, and I was like, oh man, I want to go to golf and stuff again, because that was like when I was a kid and realized I was within 10 miles of where they shot some of Karate Kid. I spent as much time there as I possibly could.
So yeah, I've been watching that and then reruns of The Office because
That's what you do.
that's what I do.
Yeah, that's like with me and Back to the Future. If it's on, I watch it.
Yeah. Also, going Ash in the chat said, Mike, everybody has an opinion and yours is wrong. According to Asa Butterfield and Tom Holland.
Fair enough.
Well, I think
Fair
you guys
enough.
had that argument a few episodes back, right?
Cheesy. I think Cheesy said something about digging on Asa Butterfield.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see you, Ash. That's good.
All right. So we can just jump right into the news now.
Also, I didn't say Tom Holland was bad, by the way.
not bad,
I think he's actually, even though I did not like Homecoming, I think he's very good. It just didn't appeal to me. Far From Home looks dope as shit, though. I'm excited about that. But yeah, he's not bad. He's very good, and I do like that he's actually using a fucking New York accent, which is something that nobody's ever fucking done in a Spider-Man movie. So, but he's not bad. I just think Asa Butterfield embodies Peter Parker more so than Tom Holland. So there.
Stop, he's the true Spidey. Don't fight him. All right, let's jump into some.
Andrew Garfield was a better Spider-Man.
Let's jump into some news.
So yeah, let's get into the news.
Deadline says here Laura Donnelly is going to star in Joss Whedon's HBO sci-fi series The Nevers. Joss Whedon, me and James bonded over Buffy.
Yes.
So
It's perfectly
great that you're here at
adequate
this
show.
time because now I have someone to talk to Joss Whedon about. So yeah, this was exclusive to
You want me to go sit on the couch?
And so yeah, it looks like it was co-written by Whedon and Jane Espenson and Doug Petrie. Well, I remember his title saying Douglas Petrie. And it's gonna be directed by Whedon. So we kind of talked about this a little in the past when it was first announced, but yeah, it's a fictional drama that has to do with a gang of Victorian women who find themselves with unusual abilities and relentless enemies and a mission that might change the world. Which is, yeah.
I have to shock you. This sounds fucking amazing.
Yeah, it does shock me.
I am historically not a huge fan of Whedon or his stuff, but
Really?
this sounds fucking cool. Go ahead.
So So yeah, I can't say that I know who she is or what she's been in. Because I forgot to look up her IMDb.
Come on, Rick.
I don't either. It said she was in Outlander. Is she the star or no?
Probably. Yeah, because it looks like... Hold on, let me pull up her IMDb right now. And it shows here that, yeah, she looks like she's one of the principal characters. That's one of her main credits. Yeah. Yeah, she was one of the principal characters. She played Jenny Fraser. I've never seen the Outlander series.
I thought you did.
No.
No?
Uh-uh.
Was it Bryce?
Maybe. I think Bryce.
Somebody here is watching Outlander.
So yeah, from what I'm seeing here, like, I don't think I've seen anything with her in it, so I can't really say. I think it's cool that they finally have a cast going. And I'm interested because it's Whedon. How about you?
Yeah, well, when you sent me that, I actually had not heard of the show yet.
At all?
At all. So I must have been living under a rock or something. But that sounds badass.
It does sound cool. I don't know.
But it sounds very Whedon, so...
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Yeah, it really does.
So it looks like...
So I'm assuming if they're Victorian women, it takes place in Victorian times?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so dope.
It's going to take place during those times.
That'll be cool.
Yeah.
Just, hopefully it's not one of those, like, Pride and Prejudice and Zombies kind of thing, but...
I wanted to see that. I never saw it.
Yeah, don't.
Is that the same author that did Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter? No, right?
I don't think so,
Oh, I don't
but
know.
it's similar. Well,
Yeah.
similar genre.
Right.
So yeah, Whedon said that she has charisma, wisdom, and... I can't say that word. Persistence? I can't read that far.
It's okay.
Only to capture
Neither can
Amelia,
I.
which is her character, but defines her. She's fierce and she's funny, and I need both for the journey ahead. So it's cool this is going to be on HBO.
Something about a gang of women being badass, doing badass things in fucking badass Victorian clothes has me all in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
I'm also a big... Jane Espenson's probably my favorite writer from Buffy, next to Whedon.
Yeah.
I don't know about you.
Yeah, she's good.
Yeah.
Well, they're all good. It's hard for me to pick, but yeah. She's...
Yeah, I liked mostly every episode that I've liked. It's always been her.
Okay.
So
He does really well with just creating a great group to work with anyway.
yeah, he is.
He makes...
I mean, Drew Goddard went off and did Angel,
Mhm.
and then went off and did Cabin in the Woods and fucking The Martian.
Yeah.
Yeah, he directed The Martian.
Which is an amazing movie.
Yeah.
Amazing adaptation of the book. So, Assassin's Creed, awesome video game franchise. They did a game that takes place in like 1912 London, and you can play. There's two characters you can play as, a brother and a sister, and I always pick to play as the sister because she's fucking badass, walking around in 1912 London being a badass. Like, so that I'm like super hyped for this because I like that game so much.
Oh, so that's your connection with it, with
Yeah.
like Assassin's Creed. Okay.
Assassin's Creed Syndicate. If you guys haven't played Assassin's Creed Syndicate, you really should, because the architecture alone for, you know, London in the early 1900s is fucking amazing to see. And yeah, the story's actually pretty cool, and then you get to play as this kick-ass female character.
Yeah, it looks like she's even won some awards. Best Actress Awards in 2018 for, I guess, is the Oliver Awards for portraying someone in The Friedman. So it looks like, yeah, she's from North Ireland, which makes sense, I guess, why she's on Outlander. Cool, yeah. I mean, like, these are all Buffy writers, you know. Jane Espenson and Doug Petrie. I'm so excited for this, especially now that the cast is going. That it's going to be on HBO, which I'm curious to see how far it's going to go, as far as like ass kicking and like gore, you know. Because like with Buffy, like I think the closest thing to gore we got was when Warren got his skin ripped off.
Yeah.
I bet that really looks really comical with the remaster of Buffy.
Oh, I don't even know. I haven't seen.
It could be a
remastered.
detriment to them though, being on HBO. I think because I
Think so?
think really good, like creators like Whedon, I think they do best with parameters.
I always fucking say that. I always say that.
Interesting.
Because at least I know I do. Like I can create something in a heartbeat if you give me parameters, but if you leave me on my own, it takes me a fucking year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I guess that is. Yeah, I can be that way too. Yeah.
I remember when Kevin Smith was shopping around Hit Somebody as a television series, and everybody was like, "Oh, it should be on HBO or Showtime." I was like, "No." Like, I like Kevin Smith and what he does when he makes movies, but I want to see him work in a PG-13 or PG parameter and see if he's still that funny. And the show never ended up getting picked up or anything like that. But, I mean, I really enjoyed the Clerks cartoons, but those were caricatures of characters that he had already made. You know what I mean? Like, I would like to see him start from scratch on something. Yeah, I'm with you, man. Parameters always make for the best creative content.
I think so, too.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited to see what he does. I mean, I think they'll pretty much give him free range to.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be good regardless.
Be creative to do what he wants. So excited for that. I'm glad you finally know about this.
Me too.
Or that you did now. You know, I guess. So yeah, there's a bunch of other projects he has that never took off too that were pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But I'm glad to see him come back to TV.
Reading and hearing that description, I was like, yeah, that sounds fucking cool.
As far as news, like that's really all I got. I couldn't find anything else, but I don't know if you have anything news related that you can think of. No, and we can just jump into the trailers.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. The first trailer we have here is I actually ended up seeing this trailer because of watching Avengers, but this one's with Will Smith called Gemini Man?
Gemini Man, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Did that animated movie ever come out?
Which one?
With Will Smith, the spy movie?
Yeah.
I never saw it. I wanted to see it. Did you see that trailer?
For which one?
It's
The Will Smith spy cartoon movie.
Yeah, he's a spy, and his Q turns him into a pigeon. And I can't remember what it's called. It's called Spy
in Disguise?
Spies in Disguise or something like that, I think is what it's called. No, it seemed very funny. Like, I like Will Smith a lot, so I wanted to see it, and I just never saw it because I didn't realize it had actually come out. So I'm going to have to look for it.
Can you hear it?
Tell me something. Why is it so hard for you to kill this man?
He knew every move of mine before I made it. I'd have him right there. Take the shot. And he'd be gone, like a ghost. Who is he?
I think I know why he's as good as you. He is you.
25 years ago, they made you from me. They chose me because there's never been anybody like me. We have to end this right now. You have all of his gifts without his pain. You made a person out of another person. Then you sent me to kill him. You made a choice to do this to me.
This thing that you're struggling with, it's fear. Embrace it and then overcome it.
Of all the people in the world to come after me, why would he send you?
Wow.
So I've always said that Will Smith has amazing range, but he gets typecast just to play Will Smith. Like, he just plays Will Smith and everything. It's gonna be really cool to see him being Will Smith and then not being Will Smith. One of the first movies I ever saw him in is 6 Degrees of Separation.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And like, only knowing him from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and then seeing 6 Degrees of Separation, my mind was fucking blown because he's so good in that. He's so fucking good in that. And I know it's kind of like, oh, it's a punchline. Oh, it's Will Smith. He's just gonna be Will Smith. But I'm never not entertained by what he does. And so yeah, this is basically Looper. But I'll see this.
We still kind of don't know the full story. I mean, maybe it's a clone.
Yeah, but it's kind of Looper. It's sending you to kill yourself.
What do you think?
Oh no, I think it looks good.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
a
really cool.
huge fan of Will Smith. I'm a huge
Yeah.
fan of Ang Lee. I hope that the effects on the younger Will Smith is not the final effects.
Yeah, those visual effects for when you do face replacement like that, that's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
I know Marvel kind of has the hand on that.
Well, yeah, Sam Jackson looked amazing.
He
in
looks
Captain Marvel.
yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that looks freaking cool. Ang Lee, I haven't seen Life of Pi, but I think the only one movie I've seen of his was The Hulk. With the original Hulk.
Is Hulk the Edward Norton? No. Yeah.
No. That was
no.
It was also Banner.
Yeah.
Banner.
Yeah. He did something else too. I think that I have seen. I can't remember. I have to look it up, but I think I've seen more than just that. Pretty sure.
He did Brokeback Mountain.
I know he did Brokeback. I didn't finish that movie. It was on TV. I was watching the TV version of it. It's probably always the wrong way to watch a movie.
It always is.
Yeah, I can't think of the other one, but I know he's a great director. I mean, the trailer for Life of Pi was amazing. The visual effects in that were awesome. I think he won, or I think his team won an Oscar for that.
For visual effects?
For visual effects, yeah.
This looks really cool.
But yeah, this looks awesome. I'm excited for it. I want to yeah, he has range. If you give him a good script, the dude has range.
Yeah.
And I'm intrigued, and I want to see more.
So last night.
Bolo's in the chat. He says he looks like Fresh Prince. Lol. Well, I mean, he is Fresh Prince, the young one.
Bad Boys was on last night.
Oh, fun.
And so I've seen Bad Boys too. I have never actually seen all of the first Bad Boys, and it was hilarious. Really? Yeah. So the credit.
Talk about Bad Boys so much.
No, Bad Boys 2.
Oh, 2.
Bad Boys 2. Bryce and I specifically, the sequence when the boy comes to pick up Martin Lawrence's daughter. I always say that's going to be me and Bryce, except for the not high on ecstasy part. But yeah, so I've never actually seen all of the first Bad Boys. I had the soundtrack because at that time I was I still am super into hip hop, and there's some amazing stuff on that soundtrack. But it was on last night, and keep in mind I've never actually seen the whole movie, but just I saw the font treatment, and then before the title comes up, I was like, I think this is Bad Boys, and I hadn't listed any actors yet. It was just producer and this and the font. And I was like, I think this is Bad Boys, and then the title comes across. I was like, how funny is it that I've never actually seen this part of the movie, but I knew it was Bad Boys. That's how much it's kind of soaked in through osmosis over the years. But yeah, so then I watched the first 15 minutes of it, and I was like, fuck, I'm bummed we have to leave now, because now I really want to see the rest of this movie.
I'm gonna have to go watch those Bad Boys movies.
They're fun.
2 is a cartoon. I have this list in my phone of a topic for a show where I want to talk about, original firsts of a movie franchise that are not necessarily serious, but definitely more grounded and darker. And then the sequel is a fucking caricature or cartoon. And I feel like Ninja Turtles was like that. The first Ninja Turtles was real dark and kind of gritty, and
it wasn't it?
Raph gets almost murdered, and they burn a house down. And then the second one is fucking Cowabunga and Ernie Reyes Jr. and just cartoon. And so I have a list in my phone on Google Keep of movies that are like that, and I want to do that topic we were talking about.
Yeah.
Doing shows to have things in the can in case we're gonna miss a week we can put up.
Right.
That's one of the ones I want to do is movies that started out semi-serious and ended up fucking live-action cartoons later.
Okay. Cool. I'll have to actually made a list of side stuff. I'll have to put you and Bryce in the label.
But yeah, Bad Boys 2 is super fun and entertaining, but it is a cartoon compared to the vibe of what I've seen of the first one.
Cool. So yeah, definitely gonna see this.
Yeah, that looks really good, man. I'm a huge Will Smith fan. I don't like all the hate he gets.
Yeah. So Bolo's in the chat. Bolo said, see what I did to Cheesy and MK11 yesterday. Yes, I did, Willow. Yes, I did. I don't know if you caught their live stream.
No, I didn't see it.
Him and Cheesy were playing Mortal Kombat 11, and he was beating the shit out of Cheesy.
That's funny.
God. Watching it, I kind of want to play it now.
I'm contemplating getting that game on Switch.
Yeah.
Because I played...
It's on Switch?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I played through MK9 on PS3, and then it came out on Vita, and I got it on Vita, and it actually worked really well at handheld. I was like, shit, I could just take this anywhere. The only problem with 11 on Switch is a lot of stuff is online dependent. So if you don't have your hotspot on or something, there's a lot of things you just can't do if you're not online on the Switch, which is kind of a bummer. But the story mode you can play, which is what I would go to it for. But all right. Yeah.
All right. Next trailer is Tim brought this to us. I guess it's another trailer for the. We actually have watched the first trailer for this. Was Too Old to Die Young, the Nicholas Winding Refn.
Oh yeah.
Drive
Okay. Yeah.
And, yeah. So this is another one. This is the series.
Do you like Drive? Have you seen
Movie
Drive?
I've never seen Drive.
Oh my god, you need to see Drive.
And there's my man crush, Miles Teller.
Killed a woman the other night. I didn't feel any guilt or remorse. I just felt
Empty.
Is that how you feel?
No.
People aren't who you think they are. There's someone else too. Someone you don't get to see.
What's going on?
Scott stuff, sweetheart.
You weren't supposed to kill her.
I don't know what to tell you. That wasn't my fault. Nobody steals from the cartel.
You caused this. You'll work it off.
I can't do that.
Are you in trouble?
I don't really feel like talking about it.
Do you trust him?
Yes.
Good. Because I see beautiful things in him.
Society's falling. It's all collapsing around us.
Soon our cities will be washed away by floods. Buried in sand. Burned to the ground. That's why you found me. As the world fractures, someone has to be there to protect innocence.
I want the worst guys you got.
That dude definitely has a
nice.
style. He has a style for sure.
Definitely has a style. The neon is definitely his style.
Yeah, it's not even just that. It's just like you can I said about Drive, and the thing I really liked about it is like he holds on shots for an uncomfortably long amount of time, to where you're like, oh, shit, I don't know. Am I supposed to still
cut yet?
Am I supposed to still be seeing what's going on? Like, there's a lot of shots in Drive that are like that, where it's just like, no, you're just gonna look at this shit that just happened. You're just gonna look at it for a little longer. A little longer. A little okay. You don't have to look at it anymore. Like And I don't know. I'm a fan of quiet storytelling like that. Like let me infer from seeing what I see. Let me do that. And that's his style for sure. And my only issue I have with it is like I really like Miles Teller, but he looks like he's 12 years old and everything. He just looks like a little kid. The only thing where he did not look like a little kid was in Bleed for This, because they actually did makeup and stuff to make him look more like Vinny Pazienza. Have you seen Bleed for This? No, it's a very good movie, based on actual boxer and trials and tribulations.
We saw that together.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
He only went and saw it because Miles Teller was in it.
Otherwise, I would have not watched it.
I only went and saw it because Vinny Pazienza is one of my favorite boxers.
Okay.
So I was like, I guess I'll go see a fucking Miles Teller movie. And after that, I was like, I like this kid. He's actually really good. So.
Yeah. Just like I've heard a few like in-depth interviews with him, and the dude's just like a real cool dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nicholas Winding Refn definitely has his style.
His aesthetic for sure.
Neon Demon was the other one I was thinking of, which is also a Amazon Prime movie, which is, I guess, why this is going to be a Prime show. But yeah, it looks very neo-noir-ish, criminal underground.
Yeah.
And it's also based in Los Angeles, just like Drive was, and Neon Demon, I think, was also based in Los Angeles too, so... Yeah, the thing for Los Angeles, like everybody else does.
And between Drive and this, I like how he takes, lead actors that you don't like. Am I gonna buy Ryan Gosling as a fucking tough guy? And then by the end of that movie, you're like, yeah, Ryan Gosling's a fucking tough guy.
Madman.
And like, I feel like it's the same thing with Miles Teller here, like with the dialogue and with the way he shoots him. It's like, am I really gonna buy Miles Teller as like a fucking badass? And then by the end of that trailer, it's like, okay, I could see how throughout this I might start to buy him as a badass. So like, yeah, taking people and kind of moving them out of their typecast comfort zone and putting them in something different. I don't know. Again, it's like uncomfortable cinema. I like that, man. I really do like that.
What are your thoughts, James?
I don't have anything else to add. I mean, it looks really cool.
But you've never also seen any. You said you haven't seen any of his
No, I haven't seen any of them. No. But as I was watching that, he has a very strong artistic vision, and that right there alone is fascinating to me. So I'll probably check out Drive when I get home.
Yeah, Drive's real good. Like, and if you're not in love with Ryan Gosling before that movie, by the end of that movie, you're like, yeah.
You also made another movie with him called Only God Forgives. I didn't watch that because I heard that the reviews weren't that great. But then again, when I thought about it, like the reviews for Neon Demon weren't that great either. But I loved it. I thought it was great. So that's another movie that you
I need to check out.
It's Only God Forgives. And you saw Neon Demon?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, I thought you did.
Drive is the only thing I've seen by this dude. So.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I mean, if you like that artistic style and Ryan Gosling, who he works with, I would check out his movies.
My wife always teases me, like, anytime Ryan Gosling's out, she goes, oh, your boyfriend's on TV. I'm like, shut up. Yeah.
I don't know if you want to take the couch or if you care about spoilers.
You guys talk about whatever. I'm not going to see it. I'm not going to see any of the 20. I've only seen 2 of the 22 movies in this. 3, I guess, because I did see Guardians 1 also. So I will go to the couch and you guys can...
No, but you don't have to. I mean,
well, I think it'd be better. I don't want to have to keep leaning back. I want you guys
it's been a thing lately where
if
we haven't seen it, they just either Bryce, I, or one of us goes to the couch. Like when they talk about wrestling, I just go to the couch.
Oh, okay.
But anyways, so here we go. First, no spoilers right now, and then we'll jump into spoilers. Okay, yeah, we always warn Ash before we go into spoilers.
Has she not seen it yet?
Yeah, I guess she hasn't. Bolo, I don't know if you've seen it, but we'll warn everyone in the chat before we jump into spoilers. But non-spoiler review, Avengers Endgame, overall thoughts. You gotta let me know.
I effing loved it.
Yeah?
I loved it. I was so satisfied. But I did just a whirlwind of emotions for 3 hours.
Yeah, totally.
And surprisingly, I didn't have to pee.
Yeah, me neither. I didn't have to use a restroom either. Also, I did manage to use the bathroom. Okay, I was kind of preparing myself too, so I didn't have any liquids at all.
Yeah.
It's like I don't want to have to get up, especially when something crazy happens. So, yeah. Same man. I loved it. And just to make Bryce mad, I'm not going to put it in my number 1 in the top 5.
Yeah, we do.
We do our top 5 at the end of the year, and I didn't put Infinity War in my top 5, and he was pissed that I didn't put that.
I remember.
Yeah. But no, yeah, I love this movie a lot. It was 3 hours long, as we mentioned, and there's a lot of things I liked in this movie. There's so much payoff moments that everyone's been waiting for.
A lot of fan service.
There was definitely a lot of fan service in this, and in a good way.
Yeah.
In a great way, and a well-production way. The Russo brothers did a fantastic job. Everyone was happy when Whedon took over when Whedon directed the first one, and he did a great job doing it, and given with this movie, they directed Winter Soldier, which was one of my top favorite ones out of the Marvel movies. These two know exactly, they knew what they were doing since day one. They have a vision, and they executed it very well. Did you hear that, originally it was almost 4 hours?
Really?
Yeah. I heard it was almost 4 hours, and they cut out so much.
I could have sat another hour.
I could not have sat another hour.
It didn't feel.
It didn't. Oh yeah, that's true. Not to make it sound bad or anything, but it didn't feel like 3 hours. And why is my work phone ringing? Can you stop that? Yeah, it didn't feel like 3 hours. It felt like 2 hours. I'll put it that way. It felt like 2 hours.
Yeah, it just felt like an average movie.
Yeah, and it rolled very well. I thought I was gonna get kind of all right, there's gonna be some lull parts, but I didn't feel that. I don't know if you did.
No, not at all.
No.
I loved the way it opened. It was a nice way to.
It opened great. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Not recap, because it's kind of a part 2, even though they're not calling it a part 2.
It's a part 22 apparently.
Well, yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But how they opened it, it was impactful. It reminded you of what happened.
It's like a little recap almost.
Kind of.
Yeah.
It's a recap without recapping.
Yeah.
And then it just throws you into the story.
Yeah. And it wasn't in the sense like a previously type of thing. It was overall visually really well.
And it set the tone very well. Because it's pretty much the way they did it. It was okay, this is the kind of movie you're in for. Because it's not like Infinity War.
Yeah, not at all.
It's definitely a different kind of movie.
Trying to see I want to talk more about it, but with this being such a big thing, we have to jump into spoilers. Overall, I love the movie. I think you loved it too, as you said. Yeah, we have to go into spoilers. So
spoilers.
So yeah, Ash, if you're watching, we'll wave you in like this when we're done talking spoilers, which is probably gonna be the whole thing.
Or you could just type in the chat.
And then,
spoilers over.
Yeah.
We can do different levels of spoilers too, because there's obviously medium range that we could talk about before we go into
the big ones. Yeah.
The actual spoilers that people will be pissed off about.
I want to be safe.
Okay.
I'd rather just be safe.
Okay.
So here we go. We're gonna go into spoilers. I'm throwing up spoiler alert right now.
Oh yeah, that's right. Forgot you had that sweet frame.
Yeah, I added a spoiler alert.
Nice.
So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Favorite parts of the movie.
You go first, because you've been thinking about that.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. There's a lot of things, like I said, I loved about this movie, and
my favorite part is a big spoiler.
Yeah, mine is too. I would think so. And then there's also nitpicks that I have.
Oh, nitpicks.
I do
really?
have nitpicks. Yeah.
I kind of want to go into the nitpicks first.
That's what actually I'm going to do right now. So, I wasn't going to, but now I am.
You have to.
I mean, not right now. I was going to talk about what I like, but now I am. Thor. I did not like what they did to Thor.
Really?
Not whatsoever. Thor, at the beginning, it pretty much picks up right after Infinity War. And then from there, like, they track down Thanos, and like we're in spoiler alert, they kill him. You know, they chopped his head off. You know, they said he should have went for the head. This time he goes for the head. And then it does the thing in cinema that I hate. 5 years later. I hate when movies do that. I don't like it. But it was okay with this one.
It worked really well for this one.
It worked.
Because it had to show that...
Because
that
they lost.
Yeah.
They lost.
Yeah.
And there's nothing they could do. They killed him, but he says, I used the stones to destroy the stones. You know?
And they had to show how the world like moved on too.
Mm-hmm.
So there was like after the 5 years later, you know, it starts with Captain America and a support group with other regular people talking about like who they lost, almost like it was a support group, you know. And I don't know if you caught this, but in that support group, the director was in that group.
Oh, really?
He was the first one.
Okay, no.
Yeah, where he talked about his husband.
Oh.
Was it husband or his boyfriend?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the
he went
snap.
out on a date.
Yeah, because he went out on a date. Yeah, that's one of the directors.
Oh, okay.
I think that's Joe Russo.
Okay.
Yeah. Which was interesting to see him. I was like, oh, and I think like I was waiting for other people to go like, oh, and no one did. I was like, at least, you know, because everyone says with Stan Lee, everybody knows who he is now.
Yeah.
You know, they point out his cameo and stuff like that. But I mean, I think they've done enough press to know what they look like. But I don't know. I guess that was Brian figured it. Brian knew too. But yeah, that was the director. But yeah, I really like that part a lot. The way how he kind of took over for Falcon. I forgot his character's actual name. Anthony Mackie's character is Falcon. Like he ran like, what was it, the VA? And this was kind of similar to that, where he's talking to other people who lost people, in, you know, in the dusting. And I really like that moment. That's where it picks up, and I thought it was really cool. So like it kind of worked, the 5 years later part, but they do get all.
You can show that without saying that, without having the text on the screen.
That is true. That you can do that without the text on the screen. But with that being said, it does deal with time travel, which I think was kind of obvious.
We kind of all guessed it, because how else are you going to solve this problem?
You're not going to leave these people dead. So, that was one of my nitpicks, and then Thor, but the nitpick that actually kind of worked. But Thor, being fat and like basically who looks like the dude from The Big Lebowski. He looks like exactly like him with his sunglasses and everything.
That's amazing.
And just didn't do it for me. I was like, he just kept. I mean, I guess you need that comic relief, but at the same time, it was just so weird looking at him like that. And it's like, I understand why he's like that, but I thought it was too much. And then I was just waiting for the moment where he turns into like back into regular Thor, you know, and he never does.
I kind of like that though.
You did?
Yeah. Well, one, for the comic relief, because you don't have.
So he's basically Mr. Incredible?
Kind of.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Because you don't. Because other than him, there is no comic relief in this movie. It's really dark, really sad, lots of depressing moments. Yeah. And with, 95% of the Guardians gone, Thor is the comic relief.
That's true, yeah.
But it also works for his character, because he's the most, immature out of all of them. He's the child one. He's the one who was handed everything to him.
That's true.
And
oh my God, yeah.
And so he grew. So this was part of, a typical storyline where he, someone who has everything handed to him his entire life, when you fall to the bottom, what are you going to do? And he just let himself go.
Yeah.
They just did it to comedic extremes.
Yeah, they did. One of the things I did like about that scene when they went to go find him was the two characters from Ragnarok.
Yeah. Playing Fortnite.
Yeah.
I think they were playing
I forgot their names.
The in-game version of Fortnite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if... Yeah, you didn't see Ragnarok. But yeah, there's these two characters, which I think were probably the best part of Thor Ragnarok. Well, that and Valkyrie was really awesome too. Tessa Thompson. But yeah, it's fun to see them back again, especially the director Taika what I can't say his name. Watiki. He directed he directed the Thor Ragnarok.
Okay.
And like he's an actor and a fucking director.
Okay.
Like this dude's funny in this movie. Like I'm sure he ad-libbed all his lines. Like it just seemed that way. But yeah, I didn't like that they did that to Thor. Like because I felt like there wasn't really a payoff. But I guess what you said makes sense. You know, it shows the downfall of his character after.
Well, the payoff too is where he ended up at the end.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
Because his character, the way that he is now, works best with where they're going to go.
Yeah.
Than who he was originally.
That's true. That is true. That does work. Yeah.
I love how you just shut Rick down. You're like,
no, because
Rick, you're wrong.
No, because it makes it. Yeah.
No, but I can see
I don't know why I'm holding back. He basically joins the Guardians.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's going to be like the Asgardians of the Galaxy, which is actually a comic book called Asgardians of the Galaxy because Thor joins them. Which is going to be interesting to see him and Chris Pratt interact together. Like I think Thor is probably going to be in Guardians 3. So. Part I'd liked to. I think the best part of the entire movie for me was Captain America picking up Thor's hammer. Was fucking awesome.
That was cool.
That was the best thing I saw in that movie. That was so cool. Him with his fucking shield and the hammer. It was so good. Well,
he tries to lift it in the first Avengers, right?
Yeah, and it like kind of moves a little.
Yeah.
The Avengers 2.
Okay.
Yeah. There's actually a callback to that where Thor kind of looks up like I knew it or something like that. Like I knew you could pick that up or something like that. It was funny.
So I actually have a question on you because you're more down with like the comic lore and everything on that. So when Captain America finally gets that hammer, that officially makes him Thor, right?
Not necessarily.
Because Thor is the name of the hammer. It's not Thor.
Well, Thor is Thor. No, the hammer's name is I can't say it. Mjolnir.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, it's really hard to say for me.
Because the movie ends with like Thor doesn't have the hammer.
Yeah, Thor doesn't have the hammer. Captain America.
Yeah.
So I guess he would. But then you see what happens to Cap at the end.
At the end, and where's the hammer?
Yeah. Oh, that is true.
I'm sure it's gonna be a whole movie.
Unless I get Natalie Portman back and she becomes Thor, like in the comic book, Jane Foster becomes Thor.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why she signed on to be in this movie. Because
spoiler alert,
Natalie
she came back. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, but I felt like they cut her scene down, like just by watching it, because like we got a little bit of her, but not enough, in my opinion. And I was wondering maybe they cut something out because it looked like that scene. What they do is they go back to the points of where the stones were.
They split into 3 groups going at 3 different times.
And Thor: The Dark World, Jane Foster, Natalie Portman gets embodied with the red. Which one? I think it's a Reality Stone.
Okay.
And him and Thor and Rocket go back to that time, and Rocket goes to pull the stone from Jane while Thor ends up running into his mom just before her inevitable death. And it was a really good moment between Thor and Rene Russo.
Yeah, that was good. Very sweet.
It was cool to see her come back too. I thought she was great.
The long list of one of the fan service.
Yeah. The hammer. So yeah, I guess I don't know what's gonna happen with the hammer now. I didn't think about that. You're right. Because he has the shield when he came back.
Did the theater fucking erupt when he picked up the hammer?
Oh yeah. The theater. Everyone went fucking nuts in the theater.
It's great. I love it. I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah. It was eventually. It felt like it was just waiting for that moment to happen, and it fucking happened. It was so awesome. Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen to that hammer. The biggest point, I guess. Oh, Ant-Man. Paul Rudd Paul Rudd throughout the entire movie, of course.
He was great though.
He was yeah. No, I say that in a great way. Yeah, in a good way. You
He's
know,
like the white Will Smith. He just plays Paul Rudd and everything.
Yeah. Because of him, like that's how they figured out time travel, or got the opportunity for time travel with help of Tony Stark. That 5 years later mark does show him and Pepper did actually. Oh, you didn't see Infinity War, but they talk about having a child. They had a child. In the comics, he does have a child. But yeah, Tony Stark figures out how to time travel, and they do a whole Back to the Future, not Rick and Morty, Back to the Future, and like Terminator, like all that bullshit. This is how time travel really works. So they kind of like bend the rules with like our science and movie science, which I thought was interesting. And then they go back to the first Avengers movie to get the Time Stone. And I thought that part was interesting with the Hulk, Professor Hulk. We get Professor Hulk in this, which was fucking awesome.
That was cool.
That was so cool. But yeah, we get him talking to the Ancient One and how like she can't give up the Time Stone because it's just going to make alternate realities. Kind of like a little bit in Back to the Future and Back to the Future 2 where he stole the DeLorean to give the almanac to himself and he calls this alternate timeline. That's what she was basically telling Hulk about, is like all these things get split off into different directions.
Leave the almanac, bro. You don't need
it. So like even though you'll have this timeline, people from this timeline right now is going to go this way, and you're still messing with time, and the whole point is keeping time together. So it's interesting how they worked time travel, or how they mess with time travel in this. We do see New Asgard, which is kind of where they found Thor, New Asgard. The place where they filmed that kind of looked like the town in that Robin Williams movie, Popeye. I don't know if you've seen. Doesn't it look a little bit like that town? Like that's. I was wondering. Like I wonder if they actually like cleaned it up, because I know it still exists. I wonder if like they cleaned it up and kind of filmed there, or it was just digital. I don't know. Because it looked almost exactly like it. You've seen Popeye, right? Of course. Yeah. It looked almost exactly like it. In my opinion, I thought it looked exactly like it, because that's the first thing I saw or thought of when they showed the wide shot. I don't know. I'm going off. Any other favorite moments?
I guess my favorite moment actually happened during that big battle at the end when Captain Marvel was fighting Thanos.
Yeah,
and
that was awesome.
He was getting his
butt kicked.
Yeah, he was getting his butt kicked, and he realized, what he had to do, and so he grabbed the Power Stone, like off of it, and then used the Power Stone to hit her back. And I just love that because she pulled it off. That's right. Yeah.
It
just I just like that scene because it showed how powerful she really is. It showed how smart he can be, and it showed what the stones can do if you use them appropriately. And I just like how it conveyed a lot of stuff in like 3 seconds.
Yeah. That was and then when he tried to do the snap, the way she just like held up his hands apart was really good. Yeah. They
handled her well, I thought, because she was absent most of the film.
Yeah, she wasn't in the film,
but
it
made sense. Yeah, it made sense because you can't have her around because she'll just kick everybody's ass.
Well, I guess that's true. Yeah. But you saw the trailers for the Captain Marvel movies, I'm sure.
Yes.
Where she does have that current like Marvel suit look, Captain Marvel suit look, and in this they gave her the haircut, so now she looks exactly like that, like Captain Marvel from the comic book with the short haircut, like shaved on the sides and the big old she looked exactly like Captain Marvel in this, which I thought was fucking perfect. The last battle scene with Thanos was everything a kid can imagine.
It was so epic.
It was
so big.
Epic. It was huge. It was basically like watching like what I imagined in my brain when I'm playing with my toys and they're going, oh, you know, like that. It's so good.
Yeah, and everyone was there. Like literally everyone
was there. Yeah. Yeah, Wasp. Everyone came back obviously with Doctor
from every movie.
From yeah. Like this movie was expensive as fuck to make, man.
Did $60 million on Thursday night.
Just on Thursday. Shit.
So that's like 1% of their budget, probably.
Yeah. They try to keep the gauntlet away from Thanos because they managed to get the stones and put it on, like, the Tony Stark makes this, like, alternative, like, gauntlet to have it. And Hulk gets to put it on because of the radiation. You know, and him, you know, being full of gamma rays. Yeah. So he does a snap to make everyone come back. And everyone's still kind of wondering what's happening. And then, like, out of nowhere, Thanos comes and just, like, bombards the entire Avengers headquarters and just, like, nearly destroys everything in that headquarters. Well, does destroy everything in the headquarters. But, yeah, and then they basically play football with the gauntlet and try to keep it away from him. And that's when you start seeing, like... Did you see Avengers? You didn't see that one either? Okay. There's this hero shot where, you know, they kind of like circle around all of them. I'm sure you've seen that.
Yes.
Yeah. They do something kind of similar like that, but it's like almost like a one continuous take. A oneer. I mentioned one earlier last week. Where they have the gauntlet and
we made fun of it.
When they have the gauntlet and it's just being passed to each different character to keep it away from them. So you have Spider-Man not wearing it, just holding on to it, and then you see, I don't know, like he's about to like fall and hit the floor, and then you see Wasp come, picks him up, like, I got your kid, and then like it just keeps going, and then it gets passed to another character and another character, and it's like that was like so epic.
Yeah.
It's full, everyone's back. It's insane how they did this.
You guys are making me want to see it.
You have to see this, man. You really do. Like,
it seems different. The way you're talking about it, it seems different than a lot of the stuff they've been doing.
It's different than any of the other movies they made. This one actually, they say it like almost in the past Marvel movies, you know, where they have the big glowing sky, or like, you know, the weight of the world. Like this one, you feel it. Like you feel it really a lot. And cryable moments. There's many of those too. Tony Stark seeing his father.
Yeah.
And like trying to get that chance to talk to him without his father knowing that that's him, because they go back pre.
Oh yeah, that ends up being the fourth timeline, or the fourth time they travel to.
Yeah, yeah, to get the Loki stone, the Tesseract, and he ends up running into his father, and his father mentions, he's like, "Oh, I'm just an MIT student," Tony says, and like they have like a moment, and a pretty good long moment too, which is, it was well done, and yeah, it was nice to see that along, you know, with Thor and his mother, and then I feel like I'm missing others. I know I'm missing others, but the one with Tony and his dad was really good. Any other cryable moments for you that you can think of?
I don't know cryable, but for whatever reason, I must have blacked out that Gamora died in Infinity War.
Yeah,
so I'm like,
that's like a pivotal moment,
right? I forgot like how Thanos got the Soul Stone, and like, because I was a huge fan of her, so I just blocked it out. And so when I was watching Endgame, and then they broke into the 3 timelines, and then Hawkeye and Black Widow go to Boromir, right, to get the Soul Stone. It didn't dawn on me that one of them would have to die in order to get the Soul Stone.
You know what?
I didn't realize it till they stood up there, and then I was like, "Holy shit! One of them is gonna die."
Yeah, that's another thing. Like, I was wondering who was going to be the people who were going to go there. I guess I must have, because like I guess the theater was kind of loud, so I didn't know it was going to be them.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I found out it was Hawkeye and
Black Widow.
Black Widow. I wanted to say Scarlet Witch, but it's Scarlett Johansson. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Like shit, who's gonna die? And like they make it hard to figure out who's gonna die because then they start fighting each other.
Great scene with them.
It's insane, really, and I'm and yours look interested, so I'm not gonna say. I don't want to say.
Say it.
But they do a really good fight choreographed sequence between them two.
Okay.
You know, with great dialogue. You know, like no, you're gonna tell them yourself, and I'm like no, and it's like who's gonna die? And then it comes down to the part where both of them end up going off the cliff, and Hawkeye does his thing with an arrow and a line to like save Scarlett Johansson from falling, Black Widow from falling, and then ends up being Black Widow falling, which it was hard to guess who was going to fall because that was a really good fight scene. But yeah, that's how they had to get the Soul Stone because you have to give us something, a soul for a soul, you know, and she's not coming back.
No,
she is not coming back. Like, I'm so pissed and so sad that she is not coming back.
Yeah.
Like, she was a great cast for Black Widow. Like, I know Emily Blunt was apparently going to play Black Widow, which I guess I could totally see her too.
Hell yeah.
But with how much we've been following, with Scarlett Johansson, like, she's great. She did a really good job from the second Iron Man movie to now. And that sucks. That really sucks. I mean, we are going to see her. And I think the TV show's going to be, or the movie's going to be a prequel.
Yeah, she's going to have her swan song. It'll be a prequel. And it'll explain why she needed to be the one to die.
Yeah, and Loki died in Infinity War. But with what happened with the Tesseract, he ended up escaping, so he's actually still alive.
Yeah, so in one of the different timelines they messed up and couldn't get a hold of the Tesseract, and Loki got a hold of it and just disappeared.
Okay.
Yeah. So, because he's going to have his own TV show on Disney Plus.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, another great part with Captain America when they're trying to get that Tesseract and they get in the elevator and it's exactly like Winter Soldier.
I love that.
And then instead of fighting, he leans over and just says, "Hail Hydra," because he's trying to get the Loki staff from him.
Yeah.
Because Hydra's apparently already took over S.H.I.E.L.D. at this point, and they already know this. So they, instead of fighting them off, he just says "Hail Hydra" and takes the thing from him because he had different orders.
It's like
that was awesome.
Indiana Jones when he just shoots the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can say similar to that. Yeah.
What I like how they made fun of that too, because they use Ant-Man to like point out that how didn't you not know these were bad guys? They look like bad guys.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. That was funny. That was a good line. Yeah. Steve Rogers, at the very end of this movie, gets what he wants, and he gets to live his life. He goes back to put all the Infinity Stones back to where they were in the right time place, in the right time line, as the Ancient One told him to. And with that, he ended up living his life out instead of becoming Captain America.
Okay.
So you get to spend his time with
Peggy
Carter. And that was sweet. That was good, but at the same time, it kind of pisses me off because I want more Chris Evans as Captain America.
Because technically, he's gone too now.
Yeah, he is gone. And now we have... so the Falcon... he gives the shield to the Falcon saying, says something about him being Captain America now. And even though he doesn't have the super soldier serum. But he does have a small... in the comic books, he does become Captain America for a little bit before Bucky ends up taking over. So, and plus they have their own TV show now for the Disney Plus. So I think that's gonna have to deal with.
Maybe that's when they'll do the switcheroo.
Probably, yeah. I mean, it just made more sense to like, why not just give it to Bucky? It's it's your friend from forever. But yeah, that was sad, but sad in a good way.
Yeah.
Because he got to live he got to do what he wanted to do, is have his last dance, his whole life with Peggy Carter. Because that scene in Winter Soldier where he goes to see her in the hospital and she has like dementia or like Alzheimer's. So like there's a real good scene in that where they're talking, and it's nice, and then like all of a sudden she just goes out of it and she's like, "Oh my God, Steve, you're alive, you're back," and it's it just rips your heart open. Kevin Smith talked about that. I don't know if you ever heard that one when he reviewed Winter Soldier.
I'm sure he cried like he does every time he talks about any one of these movies.
But yeah, that was so heart-wrenching. And then we get the inevitable death of Tony Stark.
Saving the world like he always
Saving the
does.
world. He can finally rest.
Which that was the only death I kind of assumed would happen.
Yeah, I think everyone knew.
Because he launched
It didn't
this whole
work.
phase of the MCU, so I'm like, it's only poetic if he also ends it.
It's his fault. He's got to fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's also the only one of them that had made some serious mistakes to the world.
That's true. Yeah, he ends up just as in that big battle scene just says Thanos has the Infinity Gauntlet, or Tony's Infinity Gauntlet. Like he's about to put it on, and then Tony comes after him, to try to get it. And then because of course it's made with Stark tech, it goes onto him instead of Thanos.
Yeah.
So then he gets that one last snap, back from Thanos. So it was cool. It was sad, but he got to fix the timeline and keep what he wanted, which was his daughter. Because they're saying if you fix the timeline, you're not going to have your daughter. One of his things was like he has to keep her. So yeah, that was sad. And then Peter kind of reversed with what happened in Infinity War.
Yeah.
With Peter Parker losing Tony like that, and Pepper Potts as well, like just losing it. You get a nice funeral scene for Tony, and everyone's there that's been in the Iron Man movies. And even the like everyone was wondering about the kid standing by himself in the funeral. Like he was there by himself. Like everyone tried to figure out who he was. It was the kid from the third Iron Man. Yeah, and I had to look that up in order to get who that was. But it totally made sense.
I had to look it up too.
Yeah, I had to look it up. Like who is that kid? I didn't see her, but Brian, my friend that I stayed with, he said he saw Kobe Smulders, but I didn't see Kobe
she was
Smulders.
there.
I didn't see her.
Right before they panned to Captain Marvel.
Oh, well, I'll have to watch it again.
Oh, darn.
I've actually been trying to get tickets to go watch it again because I'm going to be working in Orange County. There's nothing.
Yeah,
I can't. Unless I want to sit in the front row, which I don't. But it's a great fucking movie. I don't know what else parts you enjoyed or made you sad.
Well, I got sad when I realized, when at the end when they snapped the fingers and brought everyone back, but Vision did not come back, and then it took me a second to realize
he was Machine.
Yeah, he was Machine, and Thanos destroyed him to get the stone in the first place, so he wouldn't have came back.
Yeah.
And so I got kind of sad.
Oh my God, the fight between Scarlet Witch and Thanos.
Yeah.
Where like, you took this away from me, and he had no fucking clue what he was talking, or she was talking about. Yeah. Like, that was, like, she got to fight him, which was great. Speaking of fighting, though, Hulk never got to fight Thanos. He didn't get his,
true.
The rebuttal from what happened in the Infinity War, which kind of made me sad. That's one of my nitpicky things that kind of like, I'm like, well, it would have been nice if we had, got to see that battle.
Well, he didn't. Like, everyone who fought Thanos had a more personal connection, or like a higher need to fight him, and so it was okay for me that Hulk didn't.
That does make sense. Shutting me down again.
No,
I'm playing. But no, it's true. Yeah, that does make sense because, like, with Scarlet Witch, Iron Man, yeah, Captain Marvel. I was actually hoping to see more of her in this. I was, but it made sense.
They used her just enough.
I think they used it the right amount. Yeah.
Because as soon as she did come into the battle, like, she just wiped out so much. It wouldn't have been as great as a battle if she was there at the beginning.
Yeah. I like the beginning where Tony and I forgot her name, Gamora's sister.
Oh,
they were playing Nebula. They were just playing the paper football.
Oh yeah,
I thought that was fucking funny.
Yeah,
I thought that was clever. To kill time, I guess, for being stuck up there. Yeah, man, this movie was just so good.
Yeah, it was good.
You don't have any nitpicks at all?
No.
Other than
I'm gonna see it again.
Yeah.
So I think it's very possible I was just so wide-eyed and wowed by the whole thing.
There was a lot going on to the point too, where like, even I'm still trying to remember vividly, like, in that big battle scene, like, what happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't even imagine like how much talent went into that and storyboarding that battle.
Yeah, that must have been insane.
Yeah.
I liked having. I did love seeing Valkyrie back on her Pegasus.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was cool.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
That was really cool.
Yeah. And the way they just brought, like, the way when they're fighting and then you hear Falcon saying "on your left," and then, like, slowly they start coming out of Doctor Strange's portal thing. That was really funny, or not funny, but like clever. Oh man, I don't know what else. If you got anything else to say, I think we could have gone over a lot of time.
We went over everything.
Mike.
All right.
Let me turn off spoilers. Let me let Ash know she's still here to come back. We done. But yeah, like, overall, fucking awesome.
So the only movies out of this whole 22 movie saga I've seen are Iron Man 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up catching Guardians of the Galaxy, like, on HBO because everybody said it was so good, you need to see it. So I watched it, and it's good. Like, I wasn't like, oh my god, I wasn't blown away. It was good. The main reason why I think I might have said this last time you were on, because I'm sure we fucking covered a Marvel movie when you were on, because when do we not cover a Marvel movie? My main problem with a lot of the stuff post Iron Man 2 especially is that they got super formulaic until Guardians. They got super formulaic, and every trailer for every Marvel movie that was coming out, if you would have changed the name of who's directing it or producing it to Michael Bay, it would have looked just like a Michael Bay movie. And I think it's super cool that all of these characters and all of these stories are being treated with the respect they're being treated with. And, somebody who grew up as kind of a nerdy kid, and I wasn't like super into comics, but there was like the comics that I enjoyed and the ones I read. It's really cool to see these characters come to life now. But I also feel like they get overhyped by people that need to feel validated for the things they liked that nobody liked when they were growing up, and now everybody likes it. And there's always a lot of hyperbole around every Marvel movie, and I'm not saying that they're bad or don't deserve the praise they get, because I'm sure they do, but it's just always the greatest thing ever. And then, when another, summer blockbuster action movie comes out that's directed or produced by somebody that community doesn't like, that sucks. But it's the same formula and same style of a lot of those earlier Marvel movies. Then when Guardians came out, I think they felt the fatigue and were like, okay, we need to switch it up. Let's take these characters that are completely different than from what we've been doing, and in the comics are completely different than every other comic book characters, all the other comic book characters. So let's take this and kind of change the paradigm, and they did that. But then every movie was like Guardians for a while, where it was one-liners and this, and it was kind of over the top. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's they changed with the times when they needed to change. And the way you guys were describing this movie really feels like they got really in touch with the IP and the comics and these characters and their history, and really kind of blew them out the way I wish they would have been blowing them out since the beginning, instead of making like the fun summer action movie with comic book characters, or the fun buddy movie with comic book characters instead of something else or different characters. So, but hearing you guys talk about this movie gets me super interested into seeing not only this movie, but maybe some of the other ones that I passed over, just me being the cynical asshole that I always am. So yeah,
I think with liking Paul Rudd, you should watch the Ant-Man movies.
Yeah,
they're nothing like the other movies too.
In general, I think you're doing a great disservice to yourself, because I don't see that how formulaic they all are. Within each, like, I think all the Iron Mans are separate than all the Captain Americas, than all the Thors.
Okay.
I feel like I'm watching completely different worlds and movies. So even those characters with, like, when Thor appears in, no, let me reverse it. When Hulk appears in Ragnarok, and Thor Ragnarok, he acts differently than when Hulk is in Avengers.
Okay.
So these characters stay true to themselves, but they mesh well with whatever
they adapt.
They adapt to whatever they are, and like Captain America: Civil War is by far one of my favorite movies I've ever seen.
That was the first time.
All time.
That was the first time Bryce yelled at Rick. I think was it Civil War or was it Winter Soldier? Winter Soldier. It was okay. It was.
But you talking about like top 5 things?
Yeah.
Oh, that was Infinity War.
Was it Infinity? No, but there was one before that where he.
Civil War.
Civil War. Okay, yeah.
But you said Winter Soldier or Civil War?
Civil War.
Oh, Civil War.
Like Winter Soldier's great.
Yeah.
The original Captain America takes place in the past with Nazis and World War II, and like how could you not stay? Like, why are you staying away from that?
I don't know.
The Ant-Man movies are heist movies because they're criminals stealing things.
And for the main thing, it's like a lot of the hyperbole surrounding things. Like, that's why it's hard for me to get into TV shows that are on, or a different thing, whether it's a video game or a book or a record, an album, a record. I'm old. Or, a movie, or, any form of entertainment. It's super hard for me to take seriously when you hear the greatest thing ever from so many people. And it's not discounting their opinions or what they're saying. It always just feels like before the internet was clickbait, like that's what conversations with people were. That's the fucking greatest thing ever. And it's like, all right, cool. And that's the one thing I've never grown out of is, I wouldn't even call it like wanting to be counterculture. It's just wanting to not, like, there's no way I'm gonna like this as much as this person likes this. So why would I even try? That's the one aspect of my personality that has not really evolved or I've grown out of as I've gotten older. It happened. It's hilarious. Like, I was just talking to Rick about it in music. It happened like the other day. I'm a fan of Howard Stern, and I was listening to Howard Stern show, and it was a show from 2015 where he had 5 Seconds of Summer on, and they did an interview and they played 3 songs, and I was like, how the fuck did this band get on his radar to be on his show? It's so weird. And the interview ended up being super entertaining, and their performances of their songs, and they also did a cover of American Idiot that we watched right before you got here. That's why that song's in our head. And it was really fucking good. And now I'm like, oh, that band's pretty good. But, originally I kind of discounted them as like, oh, it's just, these fucking kids from Australia playing derivative music of shit that I liked growing up. And I end up really liking them as people because of their interview, and really liked them playing their music, and have actually gone back and given it a shot now. So it's something I've always done, where I've kind of stayed away from things when it's like the hot thing, and then I go back later and can form my own opinion. I hate the be a part of the conversation mentality.
That's why it's taking him this long to watch Breaking Bad.
It's one of the main reasons why. Yeah.
And he had to touch Stranger. He probably won't touch Stranger Things until what, another 2 years?
I don't know. I really want to watch that though, because we watched the trailer for that, and I was like, that looks really fucking cool and right up my alley. And then before I could get to it and watch it, it was like,
Everyone was already praising
A
it.
billion people binged it, and I'm like, I don't know if I can watch it.
You
now.
seem like a huge fan of the 80s and 80s culture and stuff, so you gotta watch that.
I know. It's something I'm working on. Okay, James.
Okay.
But yeah, that's.
But if everyone is working on something, he's not going to be working on it.
I'm getting better. Like I don't think a year ago I would have ever come on here and said, "Hey, I really like 5 Seconds of Summer. I heard an interview of them, and they were really cool, and I really liked their performances." I just wouldn't have given them a chance. But now, like this whole week, I've been listening to their catalog of music, and I'm like, "These guys are pretty fucking all right. I like it."
Yeah, you need to watch.
I'm not gonna watch all fucking 22 movies.
No. I'm talking about Endgame.
Oh yeah,
They're not all the greatest ones ever, but
that's what everybody tells me.
But they're
man.
all good films.
That's why you only listen to us, to me and James, not us to anyone else.
Yeah, if I judge Rick's top 5 list by what Marvel movies I should watch, like this is probably one of the only. Because I think he purposely, like he says he doesn't, but I think he purposely leaves these off his top 5 just to piss Bryce off. I know you don't, but it really does seem that way sometimes. Like, yeah, last year.
Well, maybe he just forgets that I am kind of a film geek.
Snob is the proper term.
Nah.
I mean, come on, almond milk hipster. We know what you are. But that was awesome listening to you guys talk about it. I don't think I've heard Rick talk about something with that kind of passion.
Dude, this is like
a long while.
Like I've been into comics since I was a kid. You know, Spider-Man, X-Men were like my first ones that I picked up, and like watching this, just like everything I ever dreamed of. You know, everything I've ever dreamed of come to life, and with such great actors, it's awesome. Dude.
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
so awesome.
I said it from the beginning. Like, there was only one person on this planet that can play Tony Stark, and they fucking nailed it and got him. He's the only person that could have played that character.
Can you believe Tom Cruise almost played the Tony Stark?
Completely different movie.
That would be completely different.
We would not be here 22 movies later.
Oh no, sir.
Because that Iron Man set the tone.
Yeah.
It really set the tone.
It did. Yeah. That stinger at the end was just because I think Favreau just wanted to put it in there.
Yeah.
They had no map or anything yet until like second movie or you know, when everyone's like, hey, it looks like you can make something of this.
Yeah, and then like I remember us talking about him, like Robert Downey Jr. was like, yeah, we're gonna do this Avengers movie, and I think I'm done after that. And here we are, like 8 years later. And
even Thanos at the end of the first Avengers, Whedon just wanted to put him in there. He just asked, like, can I put this person in there? They're like, yeah, sure. So like, if that wasn't even supposed to be a thing too.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts, man. How far they've come with all these characters and all these properties.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool for sure.
You know, I don't know if Bryce said this or asked me this too, if Endgame was going to be a depress fest, but it kind of is a happy depress fest.
Yeah, I mean,
the tone is depressed, but they don't.
Yeah.
It's trying to wrap things up while also continuing things. Like you can, you know, that's what this movie's going to be going in.
Handing the sword down to the next people.
Yeah, passing the torch, if you will.
Torch, yeah.
Sword is good too. I've almost said something, but we're out of spoilers, so I won't say it.
Yeah. No.
All right.
All right. We can move on.
Yeah.
Go watch it. I think it needs to be said.
Yeah, for sure, man.
So what do we have next?
Video games. I think that's it, right?
Video
games.
Legos.
Yeah. All right. So I alluded to this at the top of the show about my experience with playing Borderlands Game of the Year Edition, which is a re-release.
This is the third time we're talking about Borderlands.
Listen, if you guys can talk about Sabrina every fucking week, give me a minute to talk about Borderlands.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like every fucking week with Sabrina. Every week with these guys. There's a new trailer. Oh, the new season. Oh, we watched the season. Let's talk about the first half. Then we'll talk about this. So don't give me any shit about Borderlands. All right. So it's a re-release of a 10-year-old game, but who cares? It's fucking amazing. So I had talked about on here before how I had played through the first Borderlands a few times with different characters, and like I didn't think I was gonna, because you can upload your character if you still have your PS3 and a copy of the game to their servers, then you can pull it back down on PS4 and kind of pick up where you left off. And I didn't know if I was gonna do that, and I had started a playthrough with a different character and was playing and got about halfway through, and I was like, you know what? I still got my PS3 right here. Let me bring my other character over. So when I loaded it up, I was like, why is there only one character here? I've played through this game with 3 characters. And then I remembered that when I initially played through Borderlands, all of Borderlands, including all of the DLC, was on my PS3 that ended up dying in like 2011. So when I booted it up to pull my character down, I was like, there's only one character here? And why is it only a level 28? And then I remembered, oh yeah, I played through Borderlands on my launch PS3 that ended up dying and lost all my game saves and everything there. So that's why it was. But I brought that character over, and I'm playing with both characters, kind of trading back and forth because they're essentially at the same place in the story. And man, that game is just so good. And the part of the reason why I want to talk about it every week is to get you to buy it.
Me?
Yes. Because if you love Destiny, Destiny would not exist if Borderlands didn't exist. And I'm not saying that Borderlands was the first game to do a loot shooter with a story on another planet and you're a vault hunter and you're hunting down this. Like, I'm not saying Borderlands was the first one to do that, but Borderlands was the first one that made it accessible to a wide audience. And it is Destiny is super bland out of the box. The first Destiny is super bland out of the box. And the original Borderlands had that issue. Like, story-wise, it was just kind of bland. You were just kind of trucking along to the next mission.
Yeah.
And that's the thing you love the most about Destiny is the mission-to-mission moments and the go collect 5 things for me and bring it back. And the more and more I play this game, the more and more I realize that just must not have been a thing you were into in 2009, but were in 2013 when Destiny came out. It just wasn't a thing you were into.
You know, I do get what you're saying because I got a notification that one of Ryan's friends, Illyria's friends, was playing Borderlands. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, I'll watch. I started watching. I'm like, I got kind of sucked in for like 20 minutes watching it. I'm like, this kind of reminds me of Destiny a bit. And I think she was playing the first one. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, shit, I think I might get it.
You should.
I think I might.
Because I will play with you, and I've got 2 level 30 characters now, and I could just power level.
Give it another chance. Give it another chance.
It's $30.
It's $30?
$30.
Oh. Yeah. Well, I can't buy stuff right now.
I know you're building a PC. I know. I got you.
But once I have the extra money, I think I might buy it. Have you played Borderlands?
No.
Did you heard of Borderlands?
Yeah, I know of it.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's just it's one of my favorite video game franchises. Like period. Like I was sitting there playing Borderlands, and I always talk about like I have a tattoo I'd like to get more, and I'd like them to be a representation of like, you know, me, and I want people to see my tattoos. And like I have this other topic I want to do with Rick on the show. I think that you should come on to do also. It'd be amazing. It's if you had to describe yourself to somebody you've never met before with 5 movies, what would they be? And so that's what I want my tattoos to be. I want people to be able to look at tattoos I have and be like, okay, I have a vibe of who this person is based on the things they like. And I've always wanted to get a video game centric tattoo. I just never knew what it would be because there's a lot of things. I love the Uncharted franchise.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
I mean, go back. I love Super Mario Brothers on NES. Like I love The Legend of Zelda, but I don't want to be one of those dudes walking around with a Triforce either. You know what I mean? Like
like everyone.
It's like, and I don't. It's not necessary. It's not the counterculture in me that wants to have a different thing than everybody else. Mm-hmm. But I want it to really represent me, and like the only other game I think that I've put this much time into, and it's I say game, but franchise wise. Is I put, I don't know, probably 600-700 hours, almost 1,000 hours into Borderlands Borderlands 2 and Borderlands the pre-sequel. I've played them several times with all the different characters, and I've put a shitload of time over the last decade into Borderlands. The only other game that even comes close is Burnout Paradise, which I've played through 6 or 8 times and put 100 hours each time into it, played online, and like
That's so much.
Yeah, to the point where like I have it on PS3. That's where I originally played Burnout Paradise. Then I got it for my nephew for his Xbox 360, and I played through that entire game on his Xbox 360. Then I played it several times on PS3. Then the remaster came out last January, and I've played through it twice since last January on the PS4, and I've even played through it once on PC. So like it's
wow.
So Burnout Paradise is the only other game that I've put this much time and of myself into. And so like if I were to get a video game centric tattoo, it's probably going to be something Borderlands related. And I have an idea of what I want, because as soon as I realized if I were to ever get a tattoo for video games, it'd be Borderlands, it immediately like I know exactly what it is. So not gonna say, but yeah, like it's one of those games for me. It's that defining of a game for me. The second Borderlands 2 is one of, if not my favorite game of the PS3 Xbox 360 life cycle. It is so freaking good, and I played through it more than any of the other games. And Borderlands 3 coming out this September has me super excited, and so I plan on playing through 1, 2, and their third game that's not 3. It's called the pre-sequel, so it takes place between 1 and 2. And I'm gonna play through that again also, like leading up to Borderlands 3, and it's so freaking amazing, man. The characters, the writing, the world they build in each game, the area you're playing is different. It's not like you're revisiting the same areas. It's all different every time.
Yeah, I remember playing like that map where it just felt huge.
Yeah.
It felt big.
Yeah, and then with the original Borderlands, like that first area where you do like your first 15 or 18 levels of missions feels huge. And then you go to another area that's just as huge. Then you go to another area that's just as huge. Like it just keeps stacking and building and building and building. And yeah, man, you really need to get it. You really need to get it. Because I'm over here playing by myself because I play at odd hours. Like Cheesy wants to play Borderlands with me, but like our hours don't ever really coincide. And if they do, he's usually streaming and playing Rocket League or playing something else. And it's like I don't want to send him an invite and be like, oh, leave what you're doing with your friends and come play a game with me. Somebody who you only know because you watch us on Twitch.
You know he would though.
Yeah, I know he would, but it feels weird to be like, hey, I'm not gonna play with you guys, friends. I'm gonna go play with this other random dude that I know because I watch him on the internet. Like I really dig that game, man, and I think that you should give it another shot because it really is everything you love about the first Destiny game. Okay, yeah, that's that. Let's watch this trailer.
Oh, you got a trailer?
Yeah.
What is this trailer?
It's called Remnant, and it is by the studio Gunfire Games, who initially started. I'll explain them after, but it's called Remnant from the Ashes, and Cheesy actually put this in the Discord, and I watched it, and I was like, oh, this.
Interesting.
Yeah, like so the thing that immediately called out to me was like it's like orcs and demons and monsters and then humans with guns, and it's like, oh shit, this is like melding of a bunch of different
it's kind of
fantasies, you know. And so Gunfire Games started as Vigil Games, and they made Darksiders. And Darksiders 2, and now Gunfire just recently released Darksiders 3. And the original Darksiders was like, it came out at a time where Nintendo was not making the Legend of Zelda game that I wanted them to make. And arguably they still really haven't made the Legend of Zelda game I want them to make. And the real hot thing at the time was kind of like the action combat stuff like Devil May Cry and God of War, and like kind of button mashy, but there's some depth to it. So what they did with Darksiders is it is totally Legend of Zelda. There's 4 different dungeons elemental dungeons that you have to visit and take out bosses, and then you get their abilities. It's totally a Legend of Zelda game. But the combat system for like the in-between times definitely feels more like a God of War or a Devil May Cry, which, you know, I love those games and the way they feel. So Darksiders was like the Legend of Zelda game I'd always wished Nintendo would make, like the quote-unquote more adult Zelda. And it has to deal with the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. And in the first game, you play as War. And you're woken because the shit's going down, but you weren't supposed to be woken. Like, it was supposed to be... The shit was supposed to go down without the horsemen being there. And now, because they're there, they're being blamed for it. And you have to redeem War, one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. And it's a really awesome video game. And this studio is... Gunfire is made up of, like, the core people from
that.
Vigil Games.
Okay.
Yeah. And... So the first game is like a Legend of Zelda-ish meets God of War. The second game is you play as Death. And Death is a faster character, not as big and bulky, so the combat is different. But it still plays similarly. But it's more like a Legend of Zelda meets Diablo, because there's a loot element to it. And the third game that just came out in December, I haven't played yet, but I'm going to get it and play it, is Legend of Zelda meets Dark Souls. So the combat is very slower paced and definitely more calculated. And I really like the way they make games, and you can tell by their video games what they grew up playing and what they love. And they mash up genres together that really shouldn't go together and do a really good job at it. So I'm super excited for this game just based on the studio that's making it. And then I watched the trailer and I was like, yeah, it's like, what was that shitty Hansel and Gretel movie that came out where they're the humans hunting monsters, and then there's Bright
Renner's in it,
I think so, yeah. Then Bright, the Will Smith movie that Max Landis did, is very similar, where it's like orcs and demons and fucking cops with guns, and I'm like, this is cool. Just mash some more shit up, guys. Let's fucking go. Let's do it. So yeah, I got super excited for this game when the trailer finally came out. And the fact that it's coming in summer of 2019 is pretty crazy, considering they're like a 60 to 80 person studio. And Darksiders 3 just came out in December. And so this game is supposed to be coming out in September. So I'm not saying they made it in that short a time. They've obviously got different splinters groups of people working on it, but I'm really excited for it and the way it comes out. And I really like what they do. And so when I saw this trailer, I was like, man, I got to bring it because it looks really cool.
I mean, I like the whole post-apocalyptic deal.
Yeah.
But, and I'm interested, but I just have a hard time finding time to play games right now. But that's why it's like when you mentioned Borderlands, it's like, I want to play it. When do I got time?
Yeah, I have to wait till everybody goes to bed, and then I stay up entirely too late playing video games, and then...
Mine is just because of work and drive.
Yeah.
Like by the time I get home, like I only got like 3 hours to myself.
Yeah. And you want to watch The Office instead.
Watch The Office.
For the billionth time. But yeah, so I'm super interested. I like the look of it. And like just, I don't know, everything
cool.
about it.
It does look cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So the next video game thing I want to talk about is a news-related item, and it's the Nintendo Switch has sold roughly about 35 million units, and that
35 billion.
That surpasses the Nintendo in 2.5 years. They've surpassed the N64, who sold about 32 million units, and I think that's kind of a big deal that they're not slowly, obviously it's only been 2.5 years that this thing has been out, but they're creeping up on their own numbers and passing them, which I think is
that's great.
It's awesome. I love the Switch. I don't play nearly enough of it, and when I do, I'm always playing Paladins, which is a free-to-play game.
God, always playing Paladins.
Yeah. But I did buy a game, but it's a re-release of an old game. I bought Dragon's Dogma: Dark Arisen, which is an RPG that is sort of it's somewhere in the middle of Skyrim and Dark Souls. So it's like a big open world RPG, but it's got like deliberate combat where animation priority is what you have to pay attention to. And so I had played a little bit of it on PS3 because it was free on PlayStation Plus. But, it was on the Switch for $30, and I was like, I can give you $30 for this game. I want to play it again. But yeah, they've surpassed N64, and they don't show any signs of slowing down whatsoever. You have a Switch, James?
Yes.
He does.
We have two in the house because there's two of us.
Yeah, we have two. I have one, and my son has one.
Nice.
Yeah. I was like, you can't use mine.
Yeah.
You can get one for
You can't share the
Christmas.
Switch.
No. What games have you played, or do you play on it?
Not very much. I really enjoy playing Diablo 3 on it. I play Dragon Quest Builders.
Oh, see, I'm interested in that game.
Stardew Valley, I play on it.
Okay.
I don't usually play a lot of fighting or shooter games,
Right.
or anything that looks like it's supposed to or trying to be real. I prefer cartoony kind of worlds.
Gotcha. You should play Golf Story. I might have told you that last time you were here.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
I think you did.
Dude, that game's amazing. It's an old school style, like top down RPG, but the conflict resolution is playing golf. It's really good, man. It's really good. But yeah, man, I think that's cool that they've surpassed the N64 sales numbers, and it's going to keep climbing. And then there's like these rumors that they're coming out with a smaller, more compact version of the Switch this fall.
That's cool.
Which, I mean,
I thought those rumors were debunked already.
No, they're like getting...
Or the cheap... I think the people were saying that they were making a cheaper version.
Yeah, they're getting...
But that was debunked.
No, they're getting stronger and stronger as the weeks go on because...
Really?
Yeah.
Because I just saw something yesterday saying they're like, oh, the rumors of this
are
wrong.
The initial rumor was that there's two new models coming out. A smaller, more portable unit, if that's possible, and then a quote-unquote like pro version of the Switch. But I think the smaller one is great, and if you take things out, if you take out points of failure and make it way more affordable, like they did with when they took the 3D and the folding hinge out of the 3DS and called it the 2DS and sold it for $129, like that's it. Like you want to sell this thing to kids because the new Pokemon is coming out this fall, just don't make these removable. Leave the controllers on it so that's one less point of failure. Take the rumble out because the rumble is garbage anyway. The HD rumble is bad unless a game is designed to take advantage of it, and no game is. Not even first-party Nintendo games, with the exception of that launch title 1-2 Switch that uses it for one of the games. But no other game uses it to its full potential. So pull that out. And already you can probably knock $20 off the price of that thing. And if you can get it down to like $249 or cheaper, like I think that is a super attractive price point for parents who are going to get this thing for their kids because the new Pokemon game is coming out this fall. But yeah, are you gonna, that's still coming this fall. You're getting it obviously, right?
Did I pre-order it? I don't know if I pre-ordered it. No, I didn't pre-order it because I'm buying it digitally because I know I'm not gonna.
Yeah, not gonna want to trade it in.
Trade that.
Are you a Pokemon fan?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be getting it.
Did you like that Sword and Shield trailer that they put out? Like
Sword and Shield.
Sword and Shield. Yeah, they did a whole. Was it like 12 minutes video where they talked about the game?
Didn't see that one.
No. Yeah, it came out a few months ago, but yeah, they did a Nintendo Direct that was all about just Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Okay. I'm always disappointed by them, but I still play them.
Yeah. So good on the Switch. Keep on trucking. Bring more games to it.
The Wii is still the one with the most sold.
101 million. Yeah, 106 or something like that. Which is third, I think, behind the PS1 and PS2. And Sony just announced that they're at 96 million units for the PS4. So that's, in the next year or two, is probably going to surpass the Wii even. Which is pretty nuts. Pretty nuts, man. But yeah, I hope they keep bringing games. Like the fact that Mortal Kombat 11 is on the Switch and super playable. Like I watched videos of the PS4 and Xbox One versions and the Switch version, and yes, you're giving up some textures, and yes, you're giving up some of the prettiness, if you will. But it plays at 60 frames per second, which you want your fighter to do, and it plays well. And it's Mortal Kombat on the Switch, which is pretty insane to think that, considering what they did with the original Mortal Kombat on SNES, where they had to make the blood look like sweat because Nintendo was like, no. But now it's just like, here's a character that takes your blood out of your body and stabs through your eyeball as a fatality, and then it freeze frames on the eyeball dripping blood.
God, I was watching
that's
I saw that one.
It's too much.
It's brutal.
It's too much. Call me old, but it's too much, man. It's way too much. Especially with how realistic things can look now, man. It's too much. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is I started playing Days Gone.
Right.
And I'm really enjoying it so far. They make some really bold design choices with how you have to play the game. It's got a survival element to it. So you have to repair your motorcycle. You need gas for your motorcycle. You can upgrade your motorcycle.
Oh, shit.
You can fast travel only if you're with your motorcycle. And when you fast travel, if you don't have enough gas in your bike to get to that point on the map, you can't fast travel to there because it still uses resources, which I think is spectacular.
That's clever.
Yeah,
clever.
it is. And like a lot of people are, I don't want to drive around this open world. It's if you don't drive around the open world, how are you going to do your missions? You can't just go from point to point to point to point. I remember like PS3 era when Burnout Paradise came out, a game I was just talking about, how refreshing people thought it was that, oh, it's not just a map I'm selecting races on. I get to drive to my races and start the races. We've somehow reverted to wanting to just pick spots on a static map again, which I think is fucking hot garbage. Like, you want to experience the world these people built. You know what I mean?
There are times, though, when you're playing something where you kind of wish you can just let me just get there. Like, if that option's there, great. But then I guess that kind of goes into what they're saying. Yeah. Like, for me, though, like, yeah, with, like, the...
Did you ever use fast travel in Spider-Man?
Yeah, but after I
when you were doing cleanup.
Yeah.
Basically. But when you were in the meat of the story, I bet you never even once thought about it.
No, it was fucking fun to web sling everywhere.
Yeah. And it's fun to drive.
Have you played Spider-Man?
Yeah, I tried.
You tried? You didn't like it?
The controls were...
Oh, it was just the controls?
Yeah.
But the story...
I enjoyed what I played of it. I'm not a gamer, so that I'm really picky on controls.
Right.
Oh.
Okay.
The story is so good.
Yeah, it's real good.
It's so good. It's better than Homecoming.
Especially the places it goes that you don't think it's going to go.
Yeah.
And, like, as you saw at the beginning of the game, it doesn't treat you like an idiot. It's not like, here's Spider-Man's origin story.
Yeah, but I kind of need to be treated like an idiot.
But we've seen his origin story so many times. Yeah. That's the thing I really enjoyed about Spider-Man the most, is like, you jump into the game and it's like, oh, this character already exists.
There are Stan Lee cameos in it, so you should play
fun.
it.
No, not fun, especially when you don't play the game until after he passed away. Not fun.
No, yeah.
No.
I was playing.
He played it before.
No, it was just. Did I?
Yeah, you got to the first Stan Lee cameo before he passed away.
Before he passed away. Yeah, and then there are other cameos.
Yeah.
So like when I got to that second one, it was like, yeah, it was sad. They even updated it to show like in loving memory.
Yeah, there's a whole thing in there. But yeah, Days Gone makes some really cool choices, and it's a lot of stuff that people are knocking, saying like, oh, it's broken or it's bad design. It's like, no, they want you, like, the whole point of this game, and like
to feel like you're in the game.
Yeah,
right?
the shorthand everybody's been using to describe this game, which I don't necessarily agree with, but I'm going to do it anyway because it's the way it's being described. It's The Last of Us meets Sons of Anarchy, because it's a zombie game and your guy was in a motorcycle gang. Like, that's... But the way, the tone of the game is like very Sons of Anarchy. Like, the lead character has got like a lot of issues that you're trying to work out, and it's really well written so far. And I definitely, and there's some points where like I have nits to pick, as we like to say, where it feels like the gameplay designers and the story writers, it feels like they were working in two separate bubbles and didn't come together at some points. Like, there's a whole bit where, like, he's part of a motorcycle club, but he has a code. He doesn't kill women or children. He won't kill women or children. That's his code. And even to the point where the supporting character, who's the character's best friend, says, Deke, one of these days your code is going to get you killed. And so I'm waiting for his code to come bite him in the butt later, because they're foreshadowing it, and I think it's really well done. But then there's outposts and campsites that you have to take over that aren't just men, that also have women in them, and there's one way to deal with that. And the zombie-esque characters, because they're not zombies, and I'm with the developers on this, because everybody's like, it's just zombies, just say it's zombies, but their whole thing is like, they're not zombies. These characters, zombies are reanimated dead. These characters have never died. They're still alive. They're infected humans.
Mm-hmm. So they can be cured.
Don't know yet.
Okay.
Don't know yet. They might not be able to, but I don't know yet. But they are alive and they still have,
humanity.
Some humanity. There's child zombies in this game.
I don't know if I can play that.
And it's, you always think like, oh, why don't they ever do kids as zombies in these movies? And then you realize, oh, you don't want to fucking do that, because the natural end that has to happen.
Ryan totally wrote something with that.
But the way that they do it in this game is like, so there's these, child zombies, if you want to call them zombies in this game.
God
and
damn, I don't know if I can play this game.
So here's the even more fucked up part about it. They will not attack you. The children will not attack you unless you have super low health. Or if you pull aggro on them, if you infiltrate, like if they stay in their area, if you go into their area, then they will attack you. So you can kind of skirt around them and not even interact with them. But if they see you, they screech and yell and make noise, and then the adult zombies come in after you, and they come in big hordes. So unless you want to deal with a horde of zombies that are going to attack you, you have to very stealthily take out these child zombies before they can call the hordes in. So it's definitely, you definitely have to make moral choices without a big thing popping up on your screen saying, you're going to kill these child zombies or are you going to deal with the horde? But you
have to think on the fly.
You have to think on the fly and make that choice yourself. Like, maybe I just don't
want to play that. But
maybe I just don't want to come around here right now. I've done that where like, maybe I'll just wait till nighttime when I know it's just going to be the adult zombies that are out here and I'll deal with them then. But then there are times where like and again, I don't think your friend's ever going to die, but your friend gets his arm very badly burned and you have to go into this area and find stuff for him, or again, it's a video game, he's not gonna die. It's an open world game, so I could probably take 80 fucking hours to find this medicine for him if I want to, because that's the dissonance between game design and gameplay. But you feel like, if I don't do this now, my buddy's gonna be in trouble, but if I do this now, there's all these zombie children around that I have to either wipe out or try to get around them without being seen. And there's a real big emphasis on stealth gameplay, which you wouldn't think that going into a game that it's post-apocalyptic with zombies and you're riding a motorcycle. a loud ass motorcycle. But there's a lot of stealth in this game. There's some really fun puzzle solving stuff. I've only played about 4 or 5 hours of it, and from what I gather, it's only about a tenth of the game. It's something like 50 or 60 hours if you want to do everything. And I'm fucking sucked in, man. I like it a lot. And there's problems, man. Like, they front load a lot of story, and we're super spoiled by video games like Uncharted or the new God of War game, where it seamlessly transitions from you doing actions as the player to your cutscenes. Like, it's seamless to where sometimes you can't tell, and when it goes back. But this game,
I like when they do that.
I do too. But this game, the way it was made, and like I guess how long it took, and like the way what they needed to do to get it out. Not saying that they cut corners, but it's like the first hour of the game is like cutscene, loading screen, your actions as a gamer, or loading screen, cutscene, loading screen, you playing. Like, so it feels really disjointed at the beginning, even though it's giving you the setup to the story. But once you get past that part of the game, like the first hour or so, and you're in the open world, man, it takes place in Oregon, in a real place in Oregon, and everything is condensed, obviously, like they do in video games, but like, it feels like a real place. It feels like a living, breathing place, or a place that was living and breathing at one point. And
I'm intrigued.
Yeah, it's
the way
really
you're describing it. I'm kind of intrigued, but I'm also like, do I want to play this?
So far,
a little different moral choices to make. I don't know.
Yeah, and with the gameplay, like the way it feels to play, like I played through all of Red Dead Redemption 2, and that took me like 100 hours to get through the whole thing, which is a fantastic game. But I felt like I was constantly fighting against the controls to have a good time. I don't feel that in this game. Like, it feels really intuitive, and it's the motorcycle gas, brake, and steers the way you would expect it to. The guns handle the way you expect them to. The melee handles the way you expect it to. And it being in the Northwest, weather plays a huge factor into it. So when it's raining, these zombies don't hear you or see you as easily. But when it's raining, unless you have newer tires, which I don't because I just started,
God, you've been thinking new tires.
Your bike slides around, and it's hard to control, and like it feels really good. It walks a line between trying to give you a simulation game and a fun popcorn game, if you will. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it so far. I mean, my tone could change, the more and more I play it, but so far, like, I feel like they're nailing it, and I'm really excited about where it's going and how it's going to get there, more so than than the ending. Like, that was like always my favorite part about good storytelling. Like, it's never the ending that it's how are we getting there, and they're doing a really good job of that so far.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's really cool, man. I'm gonna have to look into that because that's the choices. It almost sounds
and
like you make choices like in Detroit. That's why.
Yeah, but see, it's not like Detroit because dialogue options aren't popping up, and a button prompt isn't popping up. You're like in the middle of it, and you have to decide.
I guess it's how you want to play the game too, because like when I play games, like when I play Detroit, I play it as me. How would I make?
How would I do this? Yeah.
So if I play this, like I'd be playing. Like, how am I going to make these choices?
Mm-hmm. And that becomes more complicated.
And knowing that they're still alive, so to speak, it's like...
Yeah. And
I can't do it.
The thing that complicates things even more is you're not just some random dude riding a bike through the Pacific Northwest with your best friend. Like, the reason you are still there when everybody else has been evacuated is because at the beginning of the game, helicopters are evacuating this area, and you're told there's room for 2 people. There's 3 of you. You, your best friend, and your wife. And your wife is injured. So she's on the you put her on the helicopter. And the best friend says, you need to go. I'll be fine here. But you, knowing the best friend, go to your wife, there's no way he survives without me here. So helicopter leaves with your wife. And then you're still there with your buddy. And then you go to find the survivor camp. It does this part in like cutscene stuff. You go to the survivor camp, and there's nobody there. So your character's under the assumption that your wife is dead. And so now it's just about you and your buddy trying to get the fuck away from where you are. And then some stuff happens, and you find out some information, and you might be wrong. Who knows? Like, it's not just two broy ass dudes killing not quite zombies. It's there's a reason behind it and what you're fighting for and what you're trying to accomplish. So I'm really digging it.
Anyways, that's the show?
Yeah, I believe so.
Cool. Thanks, James. I'm glad you were able to make it out.
Oh, thank you.
Love when we have you on the show.
Thank you. It was fun.
So I'll take us home.
Sure. You can do it, Rick.
I can do it. I believe in myself.
You got it, dude. Come on.
All right. Thanks for joining us live. If you are here now, Ash Bolo was here a little bit ago. I don't know if he's still here. And you too can be here. We're usually live on Saturdays between the hours of 10 and 2.
10 and 2.
Yeah, and if you're not here to catch us live, you can find us on YouTube, youtube.com/user/someshitwelike. And you can also follow us on Twitter. That's usually where we post the most, at someshitwelike. We put up our shows Tuesday through Friday. Audio goes up on Tuesday. Clips go up Tuesday through Thursday. With Friday, the full video show if you'd like to see us be silly.
Maybe not a full show this week because Rick and James talked about Avengers for like an hour and a half.
That's true. So until then, before that, if you want to subscribe to us, feel free to do so.
Yeah.
And you'll get into our Discord where we chat, and you can have access to us, and we love to chat about
We're
games.
so fucking cool that you want access to us.
I mean, talk about games, movies, and shit. Anyways, thanks for those who are subscribed, like Ash, Cheesy, Bolo, and Wolf. I think Bolo subscribed. I think so.
If not,
he's
what
failing
failing at life.
Until next time.
That was some shit we like.